Pittsburgh Steelers could eye trade for Broncos star wide receiver. While DK Metcalf and Brandon Ayuk are on the trade market, the Pittsburgh Steelers could be eyeing someone else. Sources told Penn Live at the NFL Combine the Steelers were interested in trading for Denver Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton. The Broncos and Sutton are in contract talks, but Sutton wants a big pay raise to over $20 million per year. If Sutton gets put on the trade market, the Steelers feel like a team that will be in the market for him. Courtland is one of our guys. Team captain I've said this a couple years in a row, we want him here, Broncos general manager George Paton said at the NFL Combine. Those discussions will happen at the right time. Last year, the Steelers actively called to land Sutton, but the Broncos decided not to move Sutton. If the Broncos believe they can land a day 2 pick for Sutton, they may move on from him. In February, Broncos insider Ben Albright noted that Sutton to the Steelers made some sense. I would not be surprised if the Broncos jettison Courtland Sutton to see Sutton and Pickens pair up. On the outside there in Pittsburgh, Albright said the Big Doug and Carmi show in February. Sutton wanted a new contract a year ago, but he and the Broncos came to a short-term agreement that allowed the sides to mend the ills. This year, Sutton might want the new deal reworked, and if that is the case, a trade becomes much likelier. The Steelers actively called to try to land Sutton. He played for Steelers wide receiver coach Zach Azzanni, which is another connection in favor of Sutton going to the Steelers. Expect Pittsburgh to be right there if Sutton gets put on the market. Steelers make $4 million move ahead of free agency report. The Pittsburgh Steelers came to terms on a cap-saving move with about 4 days to go before the legal tampering period of NFL free agency begins on March 10th. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero relayed the news on X, stating the Steelers and LB Cole Holcomb agreed to a revised contract, clearing $4 million in cap space. Holcomb hasn't played since suffering a dislocated knee on November 2, 2023, but he's fully healthy now. Pittsburgh values his leadership, and the plan is for him to play in 2025. There you have it. A relatively obvious cut candidate stays put in Pittsburgh as the Steelers managed to strike a deal with the veteran linebacker. As a reminder, the front office could have saved $6 million by releasing Holcomb, so they'll sacrifice $2 million worth of cap space in order to retain him in this compromise. The agreement stabilizes the Steelers' depth at the position behind Patrick Queen, while also saving some money in the process. Holcomb will join second-year draft pick Peyton Wilson, 2022 draft pick Mark Robinson, and Devin Harper, along with a chance that veterans Elandon Roberts and/or Tyler Matakevich still resign this spring. Does Cole Holcomb's return make it less likely Steelers will re-sign Elandon Roberts? Roberts has made it clear that he wants to reunite with the Steelers in free agency, but does Holcomb's return make that less likely? According to Steelers Depot, the short answer is no. The revised contract for ILB Cole Holcomb should make it easier to resign ILB Elandon Roberts at around the same price range, Steelers Depot posted after the news was announced, adding they were not going to be able to leave Holcomb at 6M and then sign Roberts for less from a price valuation semantic standpoint. So in a sense, Holcomb's pay cut might actually strengthen the odds that Roberts resigns. Of course, Pittsburgh could also choose to spend that money elsewhere, moving forward with a group that relies on Queen, Wilson, Holcomb, and Robinson. Steelers beat reporter highlights potential high-upside free agency flyer at inside linebacker. With so much money already invested in Queen, the Steelers really cannot afford to spend too much more on inside linebacker. Having said that, The Athletics. Pittsburgh beat writer Mike DeFabo did highlight one potential wildcard addition on March 6th, former Detroit Lions fourth-rounder Derek Barnes. In a past life, I covered Barnes when he was at Purdue, DeFabo noted. Continuing at 60 and 240 pounds, he has a playing style and build that reminds me a lot of Roberts. The concern is that Barnes is coming off a torn PCL and MCL, but if the Steelers are okay with his medical evaluation, signing the 26-year-old when his stock is low could be a way to get younger at that position. To be clear, this would be a buy low, high upside move, as DeFabo alluded. It would also mean moving on from Roberts, as Barnes would take his roster spot as a top 4 inside linebacker, along with Queen, Wilson, and Holcomb. Since entering the league in 2021, Barnes has racked up 201 total tackles, 12, for a loss over 54 appearances, including playoffs. He managed to stay healthy his first 3 years in the league, then only suited up for 3 games in 2024. Barnes hasn't displayed too many game-changing traits at the NFL level. His lone interception came during the postseason, and he's only forced 1 fumble. Barnes has also registered 4 0 career sacks, 8 QB hits, and 4 pass defenses. Louisville QB. Tyler Show among draft prospects hosted by Steelers. The list of draft prospects has begun to trickle in to the Pittsburgh Steelers headquarters, and the first day of visits included a quarterback. Louisville's Tyler Show was one of 3 players hosted by the organization at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex Thursday. By rule, each team can have 30 such players as in-person guests, though a few others will also have exempted visits. Show is a 25-year-old who spent 7 years in college at 3 different major college schools. Joining him as Steelers visitors Thursday were Ole Miss defensive tackle J.J. Peggs and West Virginia offensive lineman Wyatt Milam, the 6'5", 299-pound. Show was in college so long that he was a teammate of now 6-year NFL starting quarterback Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers for 2 seasons. Show played 2 seasons at Oregon and 3 for Texas Tech, before finally making it through a full season as a healthy starter for Louisville in 2024. During the Combine last week, Show said his age hasn't really come up when he's met with NFL teams. "It's been a benefit for me," he said. "With the experience and understanding, I've cultivated this passion, and it's given me a new perspective being in college for a while. Teams are starting to recognize that. You see guys like Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers playing into their prime, well into their late 30s. That would be my goal, to play as long as I can. If anything, it's given me that advantage." Show was 5th in the 17-team ACC in passing yards 195 and touchdowns 23. He is projected as a mid-round pick at next month's draft. 5 of the 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round last year had transferred at least once while in college, as have each of the 2 quarterbacks most consider first-round picks this season. Show took note of that, and he likewise pointed to how Sam Darnold broke through at age 27 in 2024, following 6 years of mediocre pro play after he was drafted as a 21-year-old in 2028. As time goes on, he said, "You only mature and get better as a thrower." Milam, 66, 303 pounds, made 32 starts at tackle the past 3 seasons for West Virginia, where he was a teammate of Steelers center Zach Frazier. Milam, though, is often projected as a guard the pro level. He is considered a day 2 draft pick, and as a WVU player was regarded as an exempted local prospect visit for the Steelers. Peggs 6'2", 309 is expected to be drafted in the middle rounds. A transfer as a junior after 2 seasons at Auburn, Peggs made 25 college starts and totaled 26 tackles for loss and 10 sacks. He also scored 8 touchdowns as a short yardage running back. The Steelers are expected to target what is a deep defensive line group in the draft.